are back. That's right. We are back to the Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus podcast show. I am Dr. B. Welcome back. Welcome back to our podcast show. This is show number 65. 65. And it's entitled, check this out. It's entitled, How is Inflation in Our U.S. Economy Affecting Gen Z College Students Today? That's right. How is the inflation in our U.S. economy affecting Gen Z college students today? That's right. It's the summer of 2022, towards the end of June 2022. And this has become, really, it's blowing up, where I felt like it was a need to address how our inflation, our U.S. economy, things that are happening in the world today, here in the U.S., and of course globally, but particularly here in the U.S., how it is affecting Gen Z students today, my college students, and I can feel the effect of it. Let me just say, I can feel the effect of it among my college students. And I really do feel for them. Because they are going through tremendous challenges now in 2022 than ever. Yeah, I'm just saying it. Going through many challenges. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to also talk about this is I guess this is a tease for the listening to the rest of the show. I received an excellent, just a surprise email over the summer from one of my students, and I can't mention their names at all, but it reflects the mental, the psychology, the issues surrounding Gen Z students, college students today. And it really came out of the blue. And it's something that I felt, but it was an eye-opener coming from one of my former students who took my race and ethnic relations class. So I'm going to share that, a portion of it with you in this show. It is a telltale sign of where Gen Z college students are truly at mentally. It will shock you, and it shocked me. But I knew it was there. But when I received the email, I responded, and fortunately moving in the right direction. But I just want to share a portion of it with you. So there you go. It is just a very, I think this is going to be show 65, going to be another challenging show. A different spin from show number 64, where I talked about how my college students did a fantastic job in coming together. But now it's just a few months later, just a month, a month later after the last show, things are, wow, have flipped the script. Let me flip the script. So let me do a little in-house keeping. It's 4 minutes in already. Oh my gosh. 4 minutes. I just want to thank my publisher, ABC Clio, with my book, Race and Ethnic Relations. I want to thank all my podcast platforms. Of course, I want to thank Podbean right up front for hosting my podcast shows over the past year and a half, 2 years, either 3 years, I don't know. But this is show number 65. Thank Podbean. Want to thank Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, FM. I want to thank Amazon, Audible, and we had a couple of other new Podcast Addict Thank you very much. Also, Spotify. That's right, Spotify. Thank you, Spotify, for showcasing our race and ethnic relations on campus podcast show. So there you go. And please, by all means, I'm really going to push this. Please listen, download, subscribe. That's right, subscribe. Even those of you who are listening to this podcast show on YouTube, please subscribe, because that's what I'm really want to kind of motivate you to do in 2022. Because again, we're still rolling, we're still rocking and rolling with this podcast show, and we really appreciate the platforms and reaching out. Truly, this is a platform from Dr. B reaching out to all college students around the world, and doing my best. Let me just say, oh gosh, I'm going there. Yes, I'm trying to do my best to understand the issues that are affecting my college students today. No, yeah, that's right. Yes, not those who have graduated, but those who are in college right now. It's very fascinating how issues change, priorities change from one year to another, and I've always been like this, interested in how my college students are I guess adapting to the world slowly but surely. So that's the reason why I came up with this particular show. How is inflation going off the rails right now? Just going off the rails. And our U.S. economy going off the rails, affecting Gen Z college students today. And let me just say, when my college students from my race and ethnic relations class from the spring, they left to go home, and I'm sure it was a shock for them to see and witness and experience what their families were going through when the state of our economy is just, everything has gone up in cost and price. And of course, this affects, just the cost in general affects the ability for many of my college students to actually return in the fall. How the prices on practically everything has increased over what did the economists, over 8%. This is the highest in over since 1976. So, and I do remember, since the highest rate of inflation since I was a freshman in college, way back in 1976. And I do remember how my parents and myself had to change my activity in college because the off the rails inflation that occurred back during the late 70s, mid to late 70s. So I'm experiencing kind of like the same thing now, decades later, and I can see it among my college students. So I felt like I need to do a show on how the inflation in our U.S. economy, with everything that's happening here in 2022, gas prices just over the top. It's so absurd. The average gas price going back and forth, and college students rely upon going back and forth to college and back to their home base, to their parents. And it's $5, averaging $5 a gallon. $5 a gallon. Now, June 22, in 2022, $5 that is a tremendous already burden on college students, but their parents, and just to drive their kid back to school coming this fall. It wasn't $5 a gallon when spring semester ended, at least here. But now it's $5 a gallon, and it's going to be higher. Yes, higher in the months to come. And of course, foods are more expensive. You go to the grocery store, foods are more expensive. Packaging gets smaller and smaller. Delivery is more expensive. Going out is more expensive. And just the average activities that college students do is more expensive. So, of course, I'm thinking as from a professor's point of view, but also from a parent's point of view. It's going to be more expensive to send your kid off to college this fall. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, more expensive. Just this fall. So, and I'm thinking, how are my college students, my Gen Z college students, how are they digesting this? How are they rationalizing? Is it within their thought process during this summer? And I know it is. Because, again, one thing about Gen Z students, they're kind of laid back, but they are very attentive to U.S. world events and global events. Why? Because they're always in tune with news issues, world issues, based upon what they get on their phones, what they always monitoring on social media, and they're very much in tune with world politics, U.S. politics. But again, I don't know if they necessarily spend time looking at the economy, but it affects them because many times they are living. Let me just say, living in a bubble, but it affects them when they actually have to spend money. when it's actually time to get off their computers and prepare to return back to their respective college or university in the fall. And parents are recognizing this right now, going through it. And again, I just feel concerned that my Gen Z college students are feeling the brunt of all of this extra anxiety. There we go, extra anxiety and subtle pressure that they receive from not just their parents, but from society. And of course, we have all these other things, world events going on, the tragic events that have been happening across the country. What I mean by tragic events, the mass shootings, those events, things that are happening in our economy, in the world, and how we're trying to get this balance. But every other week it seemed like things are happening unfortunately not to the good of just experiencing life. So that's the reason why many of my college students stay in a bubble. It's really too much. It's sometimes too much for the average college student. Really too much for the average person. So again, I wanted to do this show and really concerned of their mind frame, where they're at, so they can. Now here's oh yeah, I'm going to get there. So they can. So, and I'm saying I'm just saying college students in general of all race, ethnic identities, and everything. All of them are motivated. Now here's the key. Since I've been a professor for over, oh my gosh, I don't over 30 some years. Oh man, it's so important for when you start the fall, and I'm actually teaching during the summertime, and let me just say I had some great students in my graduate classes this summer. I'm finishing up a phenomenal graduate course, and I have another graduate course continuing to the end of July. But just in the aspect of having my students prepared for the fall, students have to come in with a positive attitude in the fall. They have to be geared up, ready to go. Wherever their college or university that they're going, they have to be ready to go. You have to be psyched up, ready to go. You have to have the energy, the motivation. And there's going to be a lot of energy generated during the fall semester at the very beginning, in August, when most colleges and universities start. August and early September. So I'm just wondering now in June how all of these issues that are happening now in summer, how will it affect the mentality of our college students, or Gen Z college students, starting in the fall? It's weighing heavily, and it will affect their behavior, and hopefully it won't affect their motivation to return and take on the challenge. Because guess what? Here's our society needs Gen Z students more than ever. Think about it. Just play it out. The years in which college students complete their college education and then out there in the workforce. I'm just saying the U.S. economy needs healthy, viable, focused Gen Z college students who become professionals more so than ever. Why? Because there's so many folks, my generation, baby boomers, retiring. People are just getting out of the workforce. Again, talking about the economy, people are just not going back to work. People are just retiring left and right. Industries are, they're firing, they're laying off, or they're retiring their employees as early as possible. So we have a workforce deficit. That's right, a workforce deficit. So our economy, our world is and will be dependent upon Gen Z college students more so than ever. And that's the reason why I say we have to spend. Here's my bias. I have to spend a bit more time prepping and preparing our Gen Z college students for the real world, because it's necessary. And when I mean talking about the Gen Z college students, I'm talking about those individuals who were born from 1995 to 2010. That's right, 1995 to 2010. And just imagine what all they've gone through now, still going through COVID, getting on the back end of COVID, not being able to socialize for 2.5 years, and now we're getting back to some type of normalcy, but we still are doing the preventative strategies in certain situations to protect ourselves. And just lately, the government approved the COVID vaccine for kids who were 6 months. No, kids were 6 months to 3 years of age. So everyone, and let me just say this, a little shout out. I want all college students to get their COVID-19 vaccine. There's still a percentage of college students that just haven't gotten their COVID vaccine. And it's necessary. It's needed. So that's all I'm going to say on that part. I've done a show on that. So, but again, we want folks healthy, and particularly the Gen Z college students. So, again, it's about the mentality, the health. We're going to be depending upon Gen Z college students more so than ever. And I say we, society in general. Now, let me just get to 19 minutes in, 20 minutes. Usually I'm almost wrapping up this show, but I want to share with you. I want to share with you a semi-personal story that came from one of my college students just this month, early this month. And it really kind of provides me and tells me that there are some serious issues that we need to recognize among among Gen Z college students. And as you know, I've been teaching this race and ethnic relations class here at this university on a regular basis every semester, and it's been again. I love the course, the online course, the asynchronous course that I used to teach face to face. But now I have a very large turnout, enrollment every semester. So, and the diversity of the students has been rewarding. So then I get this email from an outstanding Gen Z college student who took my class. And I'm going to read portions of this and modify it. Again, this is not to, and it's just really reflective of, I believe, many Gen Z college students. So here's a portion of it. Excuse me. And again, I'm prefacing this as much as possible. Please don't take this out of context. So, he sent me this email a month after our class ended. And here's this person says, since I came home for summer break in my hometown, I have continued to pursue my academics to prepare for this next fall semester of 2022. I also picked up my social life that I left behind when I went to college, and I was expecting to have interesting conversations with my friends about their studies over their first year of college. This was not the case, and I actually realized that I don't think I have ever had a conversation with anyone my age about science or any discipline for that matter. And as a matter of fact, I found that the topics we were talking about, most of the information they were saying was flat out wrong. This was troubling for me. And in an age where young, technologically literate people have seemingly infinite access to incredibly interesting information, why does this demographic have no interest in the world or have interest in fallacy? I continue. Next paragraph of this email. This was the observation for the beginning of my research that I would like to base the paper on. And after a lot of thinking, my student cited there were 3 possible answers to this young interest paradox. Now this is so deep, it's ridiculous. He's gone there so deep. And let me just say, from my class, I tell my students to slow down. From that race and ethnic relations class, I tell my students to slow down. Think about your interactions with people who do not look like you. Think about it during the semester, but many times they start thinking about it after the class is over, and now that they're home during the summertime, they really do some deep thinking. And this student did some deep thinking. And this, I believe, captures a lot of the issues. And he was just, one person who voiced it in this email. He says there's three possible answers to this young interest paradox. 1, young people don't know the immensity of information they have access at their fingertips. That's one. Young people don't know the immensity of information they have access at their fingertips. Two, there are too many distractions in the 21st century for young people to hold their minds on, which has limited their attention span and hence ability to grasp the information. Wow. Or three, the third possible answer, it is simply human nature to build reality on fantastical pseudoscience that contradicts real scientific research. And in parentheses, he's had religion, astrology, anti-vax thinkers. Oh my gosh. That was just a powerful statement, email, in which my former student is trying to understand his own peers, his own colleagues, his own generation. He's asking some simple questions and coming up with some addressing this young interest paradox. One, young people don't know the immensity of information they have access at their fingertips. Two, there are too many distractions in the 21st century for young people to hold their minds on, which has limited their attention span and hence ability to grasp the information. And three, it is simply human nature to build a reality on fantastical pseudoscience that contradicts real scientific research. I was floored. And I was taken aback, yet very pleased that this student, as well as many others, really thought hard about what's going on in the world, but how it's affecting their own peers, their friends from high school, the friends in their hometown, rural town, urban city. What type of reaction, what type of conversations they're having. And he was very concerned. He's very concerned now. Probably wanted to get motivated from dialoguing with his friends in his hometown. But recognize that much of the dialogue was flat out wrong. Wrong. Off base. For one, college is important. Two, many times individuals, and this happens to all of us, but I think a lot of Gen Z college students are recognizing they're outgrowing their friends from high school. They're getting education, they're outgrowing. You're exposed to, guess what? You do your research and you recognize here's factual information versus non-factual, false information, pseudoscience information that many of your friends are talking about. So he's asking this very interesting paradox, what's happening. And I would have to say he's spot on, because these are the types of students that I come across on a regular basis every year beginning the new academic year. Recognizing that they have immense amount of information at their fingertips. Recognizing that, unfortunately, there's so much distractions on a daily basis that these students, these new college students are coming to our universities and college students, and their attention span has decreased That's the reason it's so hard sometimes to lecture to students nowadays, because their attention span has gone down so much. So I've had to change my lecture style over the past few years and get to the point, because many times I know my college students just don't have that patience to appreciate a lecture. They just want to know the facts right up front. They want just to know the bullet points. They just want to have the rubric. They don't want to create anything themselves. They want to be told, kind of given a framework and say, okay, I'll figure it out on my time. No! And again, they're more readily to believe the pseudoscience on so many different things versus real scientific research. They're willing to believe any type of fantastic, and my students said fantastical pseudoscience. And I get that reaction, I get that outcome every semester, but particularly at the beginning of every academic year. So that's concerning. I bring that up because I'm very concerned. Because with that perspective, compound that with the state of our economy, compound that with the state of how inflation is going off the rails, and how Gen Z college students have to adjust to that. And they can't. And I'm saying they can't. I did when I was a college student. Again, when inflation was going off the rails and doing different things in the early, we came back to reality real fast. Had to cut corners. Had to make real life adjustments in trying to stay in school, staying in college. I had to work my way through college. My parents could not pay for everything in college. I worked 2 jobs. Transferred from one college to another to reduce the cost. And worked at nights to pay my way through college. And I see that happening among Gen Z college students today, recognizing they have to get out there. They see the stress. They see the anxiety. They hear the anxiety. They recognize that their friends are out of touch. Yet they have aspirations to be somebody. And they, rightly so, to get their degree, their college degree. And they starting to recognize they have to make adjustment. They have to make some real life adjustments in preparing themselves for the real world. And unfortunately, our inflation now, our economy now, the state of the world now is front and center. And it is preparing Gen Z college students earlier than later for when they do get out there independently from their parents, independently from the university and college, to have to make a living. And it's a good thing. And yet we need to ask these questions and provide solutions, provide strategies for how to overcome it. How do you overcome it? Some of these issues of inflation and economy. You work through it and you become more practical. You stay focused on your, here it is. Here's the end point. I'm 34 minutes. Here's the tag. Here's really the outcome of this show for college students returning this fall, and how this economy is affecting things. Really be more efficient and plan accordingly your activities for this fall. Many colleges have had to increase tuition and board. So across the United States, that's understandable. Of course, I would like to say, most colleges and university presidents would like to keep things, status quo, but how our economy is dragging through COVID and trying to deal with the immense inflation, cost of everything going up. It's gone up, not going. It's gone up, and it's projected to continue to increase. So, there's things that you can do as a college student to cut back the sometimes the extracurricular activities that normally happens on college campuses. Cut back. Also, prepare earlier. Prepare yourself earlier for the next year. Don't be surprised don't come to start the year saying, I was not aware of all of these issues of the economy. Yes, you can be right now by just dialoguing and talking to your family, your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, your your grandparents, and some of your great grandparents. Talk to your family and extended family members. They will tell you how challenging it really is to make a living in 2022. Yeah, I'm sure they will tell you. It's no more keeping you insulated. You can't stay in a bubble anymore. COVID has moved on. You can get out there COVID free, get your vaccine, but you can get out there and socialize much more. And when you get out there and socialize, you realize there are people making some serious decisions about how to live, how to maintain their home, maintain their apartment, pay their bills daily, weekly, and monthly. And let me just say, a lot of locally, there's a lot of high school students who are, and just my observation, have decided not to go to the super expensive universities and colleges. They're making practical choices and deciding to go to community colleges or universities that are very much applied, very much will make you most marketable. Here we go. Most marketable in your 4 years there. Or if you go to graduate school, to find a graduate program that is most marketable for you. Provide those skills. Not just the knowledge anymore, but the skills that makes you most marketable. And that's what my college students are moving towards. And I can see that high school students are starting to select those colleges and universities that will provide them specific skills. And guess what? No longer are my younger college students, Gen Z college students, say, "Oh, I need to take a gap year when I graduate." There's no more gap year. Everyone is struggling. The economy, the inflation is causing folks not to do those nice gap years to find myself. There's no more finding yourself. It's time to contribute to society in a positive way. And let me just say this, like I said, we are depending upon Gen Z college students more so than ever to improve our economy, improve our world as early as possible with your knowledge, with your skill, and hopefully with your improved motivation to take part in our world on a regular basis and not be so insulated in the daily activities of living. Yeah, daily activities of living. So there, I went a lot over. It's 39 minutes in. Oh, I apologize, but this is a very, very important show. Show number 65. How is inflation in our U.S. economy affecting Gen Z college students today? I can feel the angst, yet I feel like I needed to provide some constructive dialogue to assist my college students in maintaining or improving their motivation to start off the fall season on a better note. And a less concerning note. And I was motivated by one of my former students in my race and ethnic relations class. He was very, very much concerned of where his peers are mentally. And so we need to address these issues up front. No more sidestepping the issue, but confront these issues head on. And recognize, yes, we're going through some very challenging times. And let's be real, I don't care who's in office. We gotta change things. I'm talking about in office, in charge of our economy, in charge of the U.S. economy, president, vice president. We need, and I'm saying we, all of us in academia, need support from our federal government to assist all of us who are in the education field, educating the next generations. And that's here's Dr. B's final opinion. Give us support. So we want to support the next generation of college students. And it's out there. We want our federal government, and I've worked for the federal government before, to assist us in some capacity to make it better for not just us who are teaching, but also those students who are our next leaders. And so it's important to support monetarily and funding and support, even during inflationary times, because there's always streams of funding out there. And we just need reassurance from the federal and the state and our individual universities to support us in educating the next set of leaders in our world. So the inflation is a big topic among my students, by the way. They brought it up during this past year, by the way. Very in tune with what's going on and concerned. And yet we can step up and address this issue much more effectively and not, again, putting more pressure on college students. There's already enough pressure. Let's not put more pressure on them. It's ridiculous. So I'm always trying to, truly support this my college students and empower them to another level. So there you go. I went a lot more longer. This is show number 65. Oh my gosh. How is inflation in our U.S. economy affecting Gen Z college students today? I am Dr. B. If you want to email me at ejb678@gmail.com. That's ejb678@gmail.com. Send me your comments. Please do. One way or another, I want all different comments. Please listen, subscribe, share the podcast to others. Because, again, this is, I think, a very significant time. And a lot of things just happening. We just experienced, let me just say, Juneteenth celebration. In the economy, July 4th is about ready to come up, holiday. So, again, I just want to empower students to the best of their ability and address the serious issues that many times gets overlooked, purposely overlooked. But this is what I'm hearing from my students today. And so there you go. I want to thank Podbean. I want to thank Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, FM, Audible, and of course I want to thank Spotify. That's right, Spotify. Yes, I want to thank all our podcast platforms. And please reach out to me. I'm looking forward to your dialogue and looking forward to, and also I want to thank YouTube as well. So thank you very much. Wow. Enjoy the summer. Stay safe. Protect yourself. Get out there. Meet people. Increase your ability to get along with people who look different than you. This is Dr. P. Peace out. We out.